I remember it like it was yesterday, man. I was a teenager, and Michael Jordan was my favorite player. This is back in the late 80s, early 90s, and I remember the 87-88 season when the Magic Johnson led Los Angeles Lakers were going for a repeat, a back-to-back championship. And they won it, him and Kareem and James Worthy and all those guys, and gave Magic Johnson his fifth title. And Michael Jordan, he couldn't do no wrong with me, man. He was my favorite player, but it was just so hard. It was just difficult to be a Jordan fan back then. Even though I knew in my heart he was the best player in the league, he didn't have any championships to back it up. And I remember I used to have to fight tooth and nail with other kids about that, especially Magic Johnson and Larry Bird fans, because Magic Johnson and Larry Bird were on a different level than Michael when it comes to championships. And it was difficult for me. Michael Jordan was individually the greatest player in the NBA, in my opinion. The best one-on-one player, defensive perimeter player. I mean, Michael Jordan could do it all in the 80s, mid-80s, late 80s, early 90s, man. But he didn't have a championship. He was leading the league in scoring all those years. He won slam dunk titles, MVPs. He was doing everything, but he didn't have the title to back it up. And if I'm not mistaken, Magic Johnson's about 4.5 years older than Jordan. Jordan was born in 1963 and Magic was born in 1959. I believe Magic's birthday is August 14th, 1959, and Michael's birthday is February 17th, 1963. And finally, at the age of 28, Michael Jordan in his seventh season with the Chicago Bulls finally won a championship, man. And it was elating to me. I was so happy about that. And it got me to thinking about the current players right now, in particular LeBron James and Kobe Bryant. The similarities are eerie, man. You're talking about LeBron James, the overall best player in the NBA. Then you can talk about Kobe Bryant, five-time champion, and that's what Kobe Bryant fans will say about LeBron. He say, hey, we got 5 championships, just like they used to say about Magic. And basically LeBron James has to win the championship in order to be in that conversation, because Kobe's on another level as far as his career legacy than LeBron is. Even though I know in my heart LeBron is the best player, overall player, but he does not have a championship to back it up. And I'm going. It's like I'm going back in time, man. Back in 1991, all over again, when Michael finally got that monkey off his back. He was unstoppable after that. He won 6 championships in the next 8 years. And he was 28 years old. And folks, LeBron's only 27. And it got me to thinking. Kobe Bryant is on the later stages of his career, similar to Magic Johnson. When Magic Johnson won his 5th championship, he only had a few years left in the NBA. A lot of people didn't know about the HIV virus and things like that. But once Michael beat him in the finals, eventually that ended up being his last year, even though I know he came back a couple of times and did his thing, but that was really his last hoorah in the NBA. And man, it's crazy how everything comes back 21 years later. And Kobe Bryant is an assassin, man. I just got done watching the game, and Dwayne Wade fouled out 4 straight fouls in the fourth quarter. I think Eric Spoelstra should have sat him down, but he didn't. He let him play after that 5th foul, and Dwayne Wade let his emotions get to him. And as the leader of the Miami Heat, he should have known better. And Kobe Bryant obviously took over the game, hitting incredible shots over Shane Battier. LeBron had a pretty good game, but they just couldn't get it done. And also, they're missing Chris Bosh, and Lakers were home, so Lakers were definitely favored, and they were supposed to win that game. But all this stuff really doesn't matter in the regular season. The regular season, to me, is just for entertainment and also for seeding. And for practice, to see exactly where the playoff berths or what everybody's going to be at once the playoff tree starts. It's just crazy, man. I was really thinking about when I was a teenager, fighting tooth and nail for Michael Jordan. I used to always have to say how many arguments I had to say about how I thought he was the best player. And at the end of the day, the Magic Johnson fans and the Larry Bird fans would say 5. Magic's got 5. Larry Bird's got 3. And then I couldn't say nothing. I had to be quiet. And it's very similar to I see people talking about LeBron now. LeBron, he can rebound, pass, assist. He can do this and do that. And people say, well, Kobe can do this and this. Hey, well, at the end of the day, he's got 5 championships. Kobe does. And you got to pretty much be quiet after that, you know. So LeBron James definitely has a lot of time in the NBA to do this. Even though LeBron is farther in his career than Michael was, you know, because you got to understand, LeBron came out of high school and Michael Jordan came out of North Carolina out of his junior year. So Michael didn't come to the NBA till he was 21 years old. LeBron came in when he was 18, about to turn 19. His birthday is December 30th, 1984. And Kobe Bryant's birthday is, I believe, August 23rd, 1978. It's crazy how these two, you know, you put Michael Jordan into that, because Michael Jordan obviously wears number 23 and Kobe Bryant's birthday is August 23rd. And then Michael Jordan was drafted, you know, in the summer of 1984. And Michael, you know, went on to, you know, have a great Olympics in Los Angeles and in 1988 Olympics, and took his team to the gold medal with Bob Knight and all that. And when he got drafted, it's funny because LeBron James' mother, Gloria, she had him, you know, he was born December 30th, 1984, and LeBron James was actually, you know, in his mother's stomach. His mother was pregnant with LeBron when Michael Jordan was being drafted. So that's kind of, you know, that's crazy, but it's funny how everything comes back into full circles. But, you know, it's kind of the opposite, you know, because Magic Johnson, you know, was an ultimate team player, greatest point guard of all time, you know, all of his accolades. And LeBron James, to me, reminds me more of Magic Johnson. He's more of a Magic Johnson type of player than a Michael Jordan type of player. And then obviously Kobe Bryant is just a carbon copy of Michael Jordan, although he's not as good, but he is the closest thing to Jordan since Jordan. And I've said that, and I told you the reasons why. So it's like the opposite style. You know, LeBron, you know, is the nice guy. I mean, you know, you're watching the game, and LeBron, you know, he was having fun out there, you know, like Magic used to do. Magic, you know, even though Magic was a competitor, I'm not saying Magic didn't have a killer instinct or anything like that. And I'm not saying LeBron doesn't have a killer instinct. He just doesn't have the competitive level, to me, that a Kobe, Magic, and Jordan have. I think he's a couple notches below those guys. Because if you watch LeBron during that game, just look at his body language. If you guys have that on DVR or anything, you know, he's hopping around, especially in the first quarter. He was acting a little bit like a fool a little bit. You know, he's jumping around and having a good time and laughing. And then at the end of the game, this is what I'm talking about, the difference between the mentalities of Kobe and LeBron. You know, at the end of the game, when the game was over with, Kobe's getting interviewed, and then they cut the camera over to LeBron, and you see him smiling and laughing, and he had his arm around Mike Brown, and they're talking, and he's laughing over here and laughing over there. And then you see Kobe Bryant talking, and he's looking like he's mad. You know, Lisa Salters is asking him about this and that. The only time he really smiled, Kobe, is when he talked about the mask. You know, Lisa Salters kind of made a joke about, why don't you keep the mask on like Rip Hamilton? And, you know, you're averaging 30-something points a game. And he started smiling. He's like, nah, I can't do that. You know, things like that. But I'm not saying LeBron doesn't get mad at losses, because he did get mad at the All-Star game when he lost that game. He got mad in the finals. He got mad against Utah. You know, he does want to win. But this, for some reason, he was just in a really good mood in L.A., and he was having a good old time. And you look at the difference between Kobe's mindset and LeBron's mindset. And this is why I always say, folks, including life and NBA, it's 90% mental. And I'm going to tell you guys why. You know, LeBron James, to me, like I said, physically second most talented player that's ever played this game besides Will Chamberlain. Physically, he can do it all. We have no business comparing Kobe Bryant to LeBron James. We just don't, because LeBron should be head and shoulders above Kobe, but he isn't. And the reason why he's not, because Kobe Bryant's mentality is stronger. His will to win and his will to do other things on the basketball court, to me, is stronger than LeBron's. Now, I'm not going to sit here, and I'm not going to say stats are not important, because they are. You know, you got to put them in perspective. But you can't play the game just by stats. You have to watch people's body language, folks. And look at Lamar Odom, for example. You know, you got a guy that's got super talent, but he doesn't have the mindset. You know, when he thought he was getting traded for Chris Paul, you know, he went in there and demanded a trade after that when it didn't go through. And the Lakers granted his wish. They traded him. He was all upset about it. Once he thought he was getting traded, then he was upset he went to Dallas, and then he wasn't playing right. And it's not because the man can't play; it's because his mind wasn't right. Same thing with LeBron. When you look at LeBron last year in the playoffs against Philadelphia, he destroyed the Philadelphia 76ers. Then he came to Boston and put it on the Boston Celtics with Paul Pierce and those guys. And then he turned around and what he did against Chicago, and I've said this before, I'll say it again, he looked like Michael Jordan in that series. And then all of a sudden, when he gets into the finals, into the crunch time, he didn't have it. It's not because the guy just forgot how to play or was hurt or something. It's because of his mentality. Now, I heard rumors and stuff about what happened, but I don't know. But it's all about your mentality. Same thing with Paul Gasol. Last year, the situation with his girlfriend and Kobe Bryant's wife and all that stuff, he wasn't mentally there. Again, Paul Gasol again this year. He's having a bad season because of his points per game and stuff, because of his mentality, because he thinks he's getting traded, so he's not playing right because his mind is not right. Your mind has got to be right. Now take a look at Rajon Rondo. He's the perfect example of the opposite of Paul Gasol. Paul Gasol, his play went down when he was about to get traded, but Rondo's play went up. I mean, look at this guy. 20 assists, 18 points, 17 rebounds for a 6-foot-something guy. And he said the reason why he's playing good is because of the trade rumors. And it's all about your mentality, is how you handle it. So, folks, anything that happens to you in your life, you got to remember the 10%, 90% rule. Okay? 10% is what happens to you. Things that you can control and things you can't control. There's just some things that you cannot control. But the other 90% is how you handle it. It doesn't matter what happens to you. It's how you handle it. You have complete control over that. And some NBA players have strong mental mentalities and some don't. And I'm not saying LeBron is not strong mentally, but he's just not as strong to me as some of the greats that I've seen in the NBA. And I've seen a lot of greats. Kobe, Jordan. The strongest mental player that I've ever seen is Michael Jordan. I mean, by far, period. Then you got Larry Bird and guys like that. But LeBron James, to me, is just not on that level. But physically, like I said, he's second behind Wilt Chamberlain. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think LeBron James has a chance to win multiple titles like Jordan, when Jordan did it in 1991 and went on to win 6 of the next 8, and then take over to being the greatest player of all time and being better than Magic Johnson, Larry, and better than Larry Bird and all those guys? Do you think LeBron can do that? Can you think he can repeat history and beat his nemesis, his foe, Kobe Bryant, and overtake him in not only championships and in legacy? Let me know what you guys think about that, okay? Thanks, guys. Take care of yourselves. I'll talk to you soon. And don't forget, if you can believe it, you can do it. Thanks for watching. You guys know I appreciate it. And remember, folks, always, always treat people how you want to be treated, and everything will be okay. This is NBA Jerry, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.